nobody loved them.
In Russia, I think there was more Jew hate than even maybe Germany, which is a lot to say. At some point, no, obviously, when Mr. H came to power, then no, the Germans out-hated the Russians when it comes to the Jews.
The Russians were a little bit disorganized. Let's say they had these pogroms where they would go fuck up a village of Jews, while Germans were like, we're gonna organize and we're gonna do it very well.
If it's worth doing it, it's worth doing it right.
Oh my God, okay.
And
so,
cancelled.
yeah, well, we know that in the Second World War, like Hitler used this excuse to say that everything's on the Jews, kill them all.
The Holocaust happens. And what happens here is that there's also a huge feeling of guilt from the international community that they could have probably stopped Hitler before enacting the Holocaust, but they didn't. So we're going to start with this sensation of guilt from the international community. Now, what happens during the Second World War and also a bit before, like in the late 30s and mid-40s, late 40s, there's a lot of immigration from Jewish people into the area of what is now Israel. And like anywhere in the world, when there's a lot of immigration, somewhere this creates tension. So then the Second World War happens. There's this whole massacre, the Holocaust, the horrible crimes that the Jewish people had to suffer. And then we still have a lot of influx of people going into Israel. This creates a lot of tension because this area is controlled by the British. And they're trying to keep people under control. But you have the Arabs, you have the Jewish, you have the British trying to keep it together. And the British are getting fucked from every side. The Arabs are revolting. The Jewish people, they have also these different militias. And they bombed the British consulate in Israel, not Israel, but then, Judea, whatever. They bombed it as a protest. They killed I don't know how many. At some point, the Jewish, they also kidnapped 2 British soldiers. They asked for some ridiculous... I think they asked for the freeing of some Jewish revolutionaries. The British didn't free them, so the Jews hanged these British officers. So there's all this tension. But meanwhile, World War II has happened. So there's also this guilt going on. At some point at the end of the Second World War, the UN happens. It's created as a measure to avoid crimes against humanity. The UN, they understand we went too harsh on everybody. It's true the Nazis were the evil here, and they totally got it coming. But it's true the Allies did some crimes. Why don't we establish a body to avoid crimes from anybody? Obviously not the Nazis, which were the bigger perpetrators, but also not any kind of war crime just because we're trying to stop the bad guys. The UN happens, and in 1948, the UN decides to create the state, not create, it was already there, but to help, and there's a vote to create the State of Israel. The Brits are finally saying, okay, we're creating this state, we're staying a couple of years, and then we're going to leave and leave it up to you guys. We're going to stay for a little while still there to keep security for everybody, but then we're all leaving. There's a sort of vote about creating the Israeli state. This is 1948. And the Arabs vote no, and the Jews vote yes, and the UN, which has the actual power, they say yes. So we know how this goes.
I know there were talks also to put the Israel state in South America because they were looking for space.
Yeah.
They were looking for space to put them somewhere. And I think the Brits also didn't want to take care anymore of this outpost. That was, that post-World War II era was when the empire was still an empire, but it was slowly sizing down to the island of England, basically. I want to do a spin-off a little bit of why people, because there are many conspiracy theories about the Jewish people, because throughout history they were always hated, starting from ancient Egypt till World War II, till the recent events. We're going to discuss later about the current discussion about, again, that there is sort of... how do you call it? Discrimination, proactive discrimination against the Jewish people. So I was into it because I thought, okay, Hitler was the worst, but was not the first. So why do people hate so much Jewish people? And when I read into it, I was like, oh my God, this is a perfect shit show, because it's like the perfect conspiracy theory. The religion, the becoming a Jew, it's a very close religion, and they don't promote it like the other religions. Like Muslims and Christians, they try to
bring people in.
Bring people in. The Jews is like, whatever. You can become really Jewish only if your mother is a Jew, a Jewish woman, and then if you later in your life you want to convert, you have to cut stuff and things. It's like not so cool. And they have this closed community. And another thing that they differ very much from Christians, it's that we Christians believe in, the last will be the first, show the other cheek, this very good spirited, or I don't know, religion, where it's also a virtue to be poor, things like that. Machiavelli was super against this kind of religion. He was saying that Christianity is the fucking worst religion we could ever pick. While in the Jewish religion, there is no this morale, and the morale that actually it's, if you're poor, that's a bad thing. So they very much focus on teaching their successors into how to make money, how to make
self-improvement,
it's not self-improvement, is that being unsuccessful is not a virtue, so you have to work on being successful. And that's make them very wise, actually, because they make their kids study, they push a lot on education, they push a lot on really, they say, teach your kids how to fish, don't give them fish, or teach them how to make bread, don't give them the bread. This, combined with the closed religion, made them very hated by every other community. And despite all the attacks, the attempts to destroy them from every kind of civilization, the Egyptians, the Romans,
the Spanish,
but the Russians, the Nazis, all these people tried to destroy, to wipe them out, made the region even closer, but made them also super risk. They can take easily risk, they don't give a shit, because they're like, well, what's going to happen? We're going to get killed. Like, this has happened before. They make them very united because they help each other a lot. And this made them even more, successful, because like they go and do, I don't know, we do banking, we do finance, we're going to study
science.
When they study, what is the most profitable things to study. So this is why, I don't know exact statistics, but I think per capita Jewish people are more successful than any other religion.
I think this is the kind of situation where, sometimes you're in a wedding and there's a group of guys who really don't mix with anybody else, but they're having a lot of fun over there. And they don't let you mix in, and they don't mix in. And people start saying, oh, fuck those guys. I don't know. It's almost a human reaction.
Yeah.
Which they let you mix in. It's not like you can never join the Jewish people, but it has to be on their terms.
Yeah, but it's a little weird. Like I had a Jewish friend, let's say, I don't know. Very weird. Like on Saturday, they do their thing with their community. And some of them, they're not even religious, but they're very connected with their community. So, I personally, I don't feel anti-Semitic. I don't believe in... No, but there are people who will have these feelings. I actually admire a little bit their attitudes. I come from a country where we never deported them. I'm from Bulgaria. We saved when we were allied with the Germans. The Germans want to deport our Jewish people. The parliament said, fuck off, they're Bulgarian citizens, so you're not doing shit. And then we tried to save as much as possible from the occupied territories, which were crossing Bulgaria towards the camps. But this is basically the background why there is so many anti-Semitism throughout history.
I have to say, mad respect for the Jews when it comes to the sciences. I think 1/3 of every Nobel Peace Prize, every Nobel Prize in science, it's a Jewish person. Amazing.
Also the main advancement in physics, also to create the nuke.
Exactly.
The Duke is pretty Jewish, let's say.
My boy Albert. No, Albert is the theoretical background, but not the bomb itself.
But also Oppenheimer
yeah.
also was a Jew.
A big heap, yeah. But anyway, we were in the historical stuff.
So we said the UN
Creates the State of Israel, late 1940s.
Israeli are like, fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah. And in 1948...
Israel, fuck yeah.
In 1948, though, the Arabs say, okay, yeah, the UN may say whatever the fuck they want to say, but you guys are surrounded by Egypt, Jordan, Syria, Lebanon, and we are more than you, and we're going to fuck you up.